Yeah.
They should have a
It's
thing
like
where you
bye,
can
and then
just
you have to
time
back
yourself
out.
out. It's just like beep, 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 like on a phone when your
Just
phone dies.
imagine it's just like, oh, bye.
No, in a midway through a sentence. Anyway,
Yeah.
no, it's fine. I'm so glad we could make this work. And yes, let me know what time. Well, not what time. Oh my gosh, see, that's how tired I am. Let me know what time you're coming to my show. Let me know which
I
show
don't know
you're
if I can
coming
tell you the
to.
time. Yeah, I'll let you know for sure. I'd say let's get into it a little bit. I mean, speaking of book stuff already, you had some like really busy months basically with your album dropping and the book. So how's that been since both of the things have been out? Have you been running around in circles being like, oh my God, there's so much to do, or is it actually really
Yeah.
chill?
It's I mean, I come across as quite a chill person, but it has been pretty busy. I've been doing like, well, I get up early anyway, but I've just been doing long days, maybe longer than I would normally do, um, just to try and get everything done. I'm already editing my second book as well. So, no rest for the wicked. The song, well, the album, I should say, the album release and like Demons, the single that was accompanying it coming out was super exciting. I wanted to do something sort of Halloweeny. So it came out just before Halloween, which was awesome, which I always try to do a song just before Halloween or on Halloween or just after, whatever. But
Is Halloween your favorite like season or holiday then?
yeah, it is. I mean, I also love Christmas because Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I like the spookiness and the magic of Halloween and that sort of, yeah, magicness. Also dressing up, which is never not fun.
That's
So
very true.
exactly. And it kind of suits my sound and my vibe and my general style. So yeah, I'd say it is probably one of the most significant, if not the most significant holidays on the calendar.
Like speaking of like dressing up and everything, I mean, you've basically with your album and the book created this whole like universe or like multiverse. Why is it that you wanted to do something like that, like create your own world for people to come into? What made you do that?
I am just a really obsessive person and I wanted something that people could dive into because as a fan myself, no one had ever done something like this. No one had ever done a holistic thing. Some authors were like put together a playlist. I'm like, whoop-de-doo. I wanted to like write the songs. And when I was a teenager, I was listening to music and writing short stories for the music I was listening to. And I was reading books and writing songs to the books I was reading. So it just kind of was a natural progression, I guess, when I started making my own music and writing my own stories. I was like, well, why can't I combine them? And I was like, well, I can because I can do what I want because it's my world and it's my multiverse. So I started doing it. And then it just kind of snowballed and now it's this massive this massive thing that everyone knows about and all my fans are super invested, which is amazing, and they have their own theories and I just love it. I just think it's the immersibility. It's the ability to immerse yourself in a world and escape. It's so fun to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's the magic of stories in like whatever shape or form they come in is they can be so
Exactly.
inviting and like completely draw us in, and having something that's like written like a book that you can dive into, but then also have the music. I mean, it lets you experience a story on a different level as well.
It does. And it allows you to really sort of, I think, what I really wanted was people to be able to draw their own connections between the songs and the book. And it allows you to do that because I don't prescribe it. And I think that that in itself is kind of special because um, there are so many things that you're told this is what goes with this. And this is what goes with that. And even in my little world, I do that. Like I have my little character illustrations and I talk about the places. So letting people choose which song maps to which scene was really important to me so that people felt like they had a bit of ownership over the world and the story that suited them and their personality and their taste.
Was there ever like something you read or were told by a fan or someone that read your story and listens to your music where you were like, I love that connection. I did not think of that. Why did I not think of that?
Yeah, it happens all the time. People are often like, I think Wicked goes with this scene. And I'm like, Wow, it really does. Like, good job. You did real good because to me, I guess I have it all in my head and I know what it is to me. And so it's refreshing. But sometimes the theories are so like wild and wacky. You gotta laugh.
But that's like the fun of it. Just kind of everyone also creating their whole, like their own little world. And I mean, that's something you seem to be about a lot, is this whole aspect of individuality. So everyone having their own story and like identifying with different parts of songs and stories fits in with that so well.
It really does. And the idea that people, I mean, I love when my fans create fan art for the different characters. That is so exciting to me. And also, I guess I just wanted people to read the book and feel like they could become their, like, they're one of the characters. Like they could just sink into the pages and immerse themselves among friends. That's really what it's always been about to me, like having the fans feel like they know these characters and they're friends with these characters, because a lot of my fans, you know, have maybe trouble at school, or it's a bit more difficult to find friends, so books can be such a great sort of place to escape.
Absolutely. And we can learn so much from characters in books as well, even if it's not like a conscious thing, but we will basically go on this journey with a character and experience what they experience. And that might really influence the way we act as well, like in the normal world, even if it's in a fantasy world where the story is happening. But there are so many things we can apply to our everyday life. So you don't know what kind of little nuggets you're basically giving your fans, where they will, in their everyday life, be like, wait, how would that character would have reacted now? Or I'm going to be more like her or more like him a little bit in this moment. You never know.
Exactly. No, that is such a great perspective. And it's so true. You don't know how people are going to be affected by things.
Yeah, the same thing with music as well.
Definitely. And that's one of the things that I think is so amazing about music. You, as a listener, inform the meaning of the song, and the song can mean something completely different to you on different days, depending on where you are or what you're experiencing, let alone other people and their interpretations of things. I mean, I find it really, really beautiful. I think that's what I love about music. It's so subjective.
Mm,
Yeah.
definitely. I mean, I'm definitely someone that loves diving into the lyrics of songs because I love music, but I don't like have any musical understanding to the degree where I play an instrument or anything. So despite the fact that there are instruments in the background, they're not mine. This is not even my place. But that's how I strongly connect with music as well. It's like obviously the emotion and vibe that comes off it, but also just diving into the lyrics and seeing what kind of a story is behind it.
Yeah, the lyrics are the most important part to me because they take you on a journey and they transport you. And when they don't, full stop, it's kind of jarring.
Yeah. So when you write your songs, is it usually lyrics first or like melodies, or is it both? And then you have like a specific theme in mind. You're like, okay, I'm gonna try and write for this now.
Usually I have like a trigger word or a theme um, in my head of what I'm trying to get through. And I'll have like maybe a reference emotion or a reference situation that's just kind of like where I can get an emotional baseline from. And then from there, I do like to do the melody and lyrics at the same time. And then I'll like workshop the lyrics. So I don't really sing melodies with just sounds, and I don't write the lyrics out. It's all very kind of organic. So yeah, I'll just sing a bunch of lyrics. Sometimes it'll be like, I don't like much of that. Keep tweaking it, keep tweaking it. And sometimes I'll be like, yeah, this is the core. And then now I want to find words that fit better, or explain what I'm trying to say more clearly.
Yeah, and I bet like some songs are really easy and others just take like ages to develop as well. Um,
Yeah. I generally have a rule that if it takes more than 90 minutes, then it's not meant to be
okay, okay.
to get the bones of a song down. Yeah. So if I can't get like something I'm happy with, at least as a starting point within 90 minutes, then I'm like, nah, I'm done. I don't like to sort of labor over something. I know some people will go into songwriting sessions and they'll stay there for like 6 to 10 hours. I just, I just can't do that. It just feels really forced and unnatural for me. So I can usually tell within half an hour if it's going to work or not. And then within 90 minutes, we should have something that's pretty good to go off. And sometimes it can be done within like 2 hours, which is bueno.
It's just amazing. That's kind of,
Yeah.
was there any songs on the album where that happened, where it was just like really easy?
Um, I mean, Hypnotized was pretty easy. It was pretty quick. Antihero was very easy. They all kind of flow. There was no songs on that album that really stand out to me as being like a pain at all, which is good.
Means all of it was meant to be.
Exactly. No bad feelings, no bad vibes.
But how is the whole like production process of the album though? Because obviously the last years have been a bit weird for music, everything from live to just making music, because alone the fact that we're all kind of in isolation and uncertainty, that obviously impacts creativity and the way you as a musician or creative can work. So how did you experience that?
Well, because of COVID, like songwriting sessions weren't happening, but that wasn't a major impact because the main way that I write is usually with Matthias, who is, I call him basically the other half of AViVA, because from a band perspective, he runs things. I do the creative and he does everything else.
Useful.
And yeah, exactly. And he also co-produces the songs and drums when we play live, but we haven't really had to do that. So that's been handy. We had written some of the songs from volume 2 in 2019, and they were pretty much finished, which was lucky because, and we did that probably mid to late 2019. And then in 2020, we kept writing and we work mostly with, there's two producers we work with, JP Fung and Teal, and then Matthias co-produces with them, and just doing it online. I mean, it's my favorite way to do things because I don't have to leave my house. And because of the internet, you can send things back and forth really easily. So that's kind of good. So, they might send a beat. I'll put down a top line, which is the melody and lyrics. Then we send it back, and then I record all the vocals, and then they work on the production with Matthias and mix it down, and then Bob's your uncle.
That's so interesting that you say like that's your favorite way to write, because I have a few friends that are like in music and a lot of them are like, oh, finally, like you can get back into a room with other people again. And then there's you saying like, oh no, I actually like the online writing.
I know, it's funny. Some people I think really they benefit from that bouncing off each other and the creative energy in the room. And I just don't feel that way, because to me, being creative is such a private thing and it's so personal. I don't like having to explain everything. And often in songwriting rooms, everyone wants you to explain everything. And I'm like, I can't explain it. It's emotion, it's feelings.
Like, this is like how it feels like. I can't explain why.
They're like, why did you choose that line? I'm like, I don't know, man. It just felt right.
It just happened.
Exactly. So I like to be able to do it alone in my cocoon.
In your cocoon. So have you like set up your space in a way that it really helps your creativity and inspires you? Or is it more of a, I don't really care where I am, but like as long as I have like, my brain and my heart, I'm all good to go?
I wish that I was like that, but I'm quite a magpie, which is an Australian bird that likes to collect shiny things. So I just like to have things around me that make me either happy or comfortable, hence the wall behind me. This is my writing room. So this is the room that I do all my writing in. And I also do my Twitch streaming and stuff like that. But upstairs is the studio, and it's beautiful and looks out into nature. And I guess as long as I've got my phone so I can jot down ideas or record ideas, I don't really need anything. I usually have something. Got something. It's just like
some Something to squish.
Yeah, it's like putty because it helps me focus my brain. If my hands are still, then
Oh
my
yeah.
brain starts to wander. So if my
I'm the
hands are
same thing.
moving,
I always play with something. Like I have this in my hand right now, which is a bit of blue tag.
this is basically like giant blue tack, except it's
Yeah.
black because it's more dramatic.
Wow.
So yeah, as long as I've got something to play with, then I'm all right.
It's crazy though, if you say that your album's basically been done since 2019, how was that like sitting on it for so long then? Were you like ever at the point where like, oh, I just want people to hear it like right now? Like, why do I need to wait until like October 2021?
Sometimes, but I do like suspense. I have a lot of songs. I'm quite prolific in my creation. So we have already finished volume 3.
Well, I mean, that's something good as well, right? So you don't need to
It's
worry, oh
just
my God, will
difficult
I think of
when
stuff?
I think what I find most difficult is accidentally almost saying things because I'm trying to reference something and then I'm like, wait, that song hasn't come out yet. So I really cannot say that because it's going to ruin the reveal or whatever. That's the hardest part. So the new song that's about to come out in December,
Oh,
which I
so
can say
soon.
the name of it. I know. No rest for the wicked. I said that. It comes out in December and it's called Nightmare. And so I'm just getting where I only announced the name of that yesterday. I'm just getting used to saying that. And that's the first song from volume 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Exciting. Do you think people were expecting that you'd come at them with new music so quickly?
probably not. But like you said, it's hard when you have it and you just want to get it out there. I mean, there's no reason why not to,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
And would you say overall though that you're happy with how the album has been like received and what people have been saying? Like, how has that been for you?
It's had such positive feedback, which is amazing, obviously, from like a creator perspective to get positive feedback. It's kind of affirming and you can go, cool, I'm in the right direction, or at least I'm on the right path. So that's really good. Demons, I just sort of found out, has been on rotation in 2 like commercial stations in Germany, which
Mm,
is
I saw.
amazing. Yeah. So that's so cool. And yeah, the fans love it. And people are really drawing the connections between the album and the book, which is obviously a bit more of a sort of a deeper fan look into the world, but very satisfying.
So with you mentioned this earlier with basically already starting the next book as well, and now you're saying, oh wait, I'm already like working on volume 3 of the album. So are you planning for that to kind of line up again, or is that a we'll see what happens?
That's a little bit of a we'll see what happens. I can't say definitively now what my intention is. I do know that the book will be coming out, the second book will be coming out in October next year. And I can say that because it's in the back of the first book. So
Wow.
that's a definite. But whether volume 3 comes out around the same time, I don't know yet. I haven't decided.
You haven't decided yet. You just know it's gonna happen. It's inevitable.
Exactly. Can't stop me.
Which is good. I mean, if that's what you like do every day, then it's good that you can't stop doing it. You just,
Totally. And
yeah.
it just is. It's just part of my lifestyle to do these things. It's part of my lifestyle to do, 1 or 2 songs a week. It's part of my lifestyle to work on my writing every day. So it just makes sense to keep it coming and keep releasing music, even though it can seem, oh, that's so quick. But like I wrote this song a few months ago. So it's not like it didn't write it overnight.
Do you ever have your moments though where you're like, oh, this is all so difficult. I just want to like stop and do like something normal, especially like
I
as an
was
independent artist. I feel like it's really challenging.
It is really challenging and it's very tiring sometimes, literally tiring or like emotionally tiring. But I was a high school teacher
Oh,
before I was
wow.
able to be a musician full time. And I don't want to go back to working for someone else ever. So, no matter how tired I might feel or how much there are particular things that I don't like any job, there's always some part of it that you're like, yeah, not really into that. I'm just so grateful that this is what I get to do. And I try to be really conscious of that and the fact that I'm very lucky and in a position that so many people want to be in. So I should, yeah, really take advantage of it and embrace it and not worry too much if it's like I'm having a bad day, whatever, get over yourself.
Yeah, you're basically doing what you love, which makes it a bit easier to push through on the bad days for sure. But
Exactly. And I think that everyone has days where they're like, oh, I hate this. But whether it's genuine or it's just you're tired and having a bad day is really important to remember. I find that often if I'm having a bad day and I just go to bed, when I wake up the next day, I'm like, cool, what am I doing? The same thing, but your mind, it's like listening to music. If your head's in a different place, all of a sudden your perception's completely
yeah,
changed.
so that's kind of your go-to way to get out of a bad headspace is just sleep. And then we'll
Yeah, well,
reset the
I
next
don't
day.
exactly. I don't nap. If it's really like I'll just like I don't put pressure on myself if things are not working. I like to just have a shower and then chill out and read. Usually that fixes things and then yeah, go to bed. Go to bed at normal time. I don't like napping.
Yeah, I don't either. I always tell people like, don't let me nap because if I will wake up, I will be grumpy and I will not want to do anything. Like it doesn't help me at all.
No, I don't find it beneficial. I'm just like, well, if you're so tired and having a bad day, napping isn't going to wake you up into a fresh day. It's just going to wake you back up into the day you don't like.
And if you're ever, I don't know if you ever have this, if you're feeling just like creatively drained, as in like, "Ah, I can't really like create anything today. Is there,
Mhm.
what do you do then? Or do you never have those moments and your brain is just constantly like this and this and this and this and this?
It's constantly like that. But sometimes it's so much like that that it's hard to pick the thread of the one thing that I want to focus on. That's often more my problem than no ideas. It's just like too many ideas at once. I tend to not allow myself to get into that position where there's no ideas. I call it filling my creative well, as in a water well, but it's filled with creativity, not with water. And so, like reading, watching TV shows that I find really, bring me joy or really creative, doing a lot of craft. I do a lot of sewing and I quilt and knit and whatnot. So I do a lot of craft things. That really helps because it's so different to writing and it's so different to songwriting, but it's still so creative and it's
Mm.
forces me to think, especially I like draw my own patterns for clothing and stuff. So it's
Wow.
active brain stuff without any pressure because if I don't finish something, it doesn't matter. There's no deadline. There's no one expecting or waiting on delivery. It's just like, meh, I'll get back to it tomorrow or in a few days when I can. So I try to do about half an hour minimum creative, something that's not like work creative.
Mhm.
And that really helps me. And I notice on days when I don't have any time, or if there's a couple of days or a week when I just don't have time to do anything creative, like making something creatively crafty, whatever you want to call it, I really feel that's when I start to feel like, ugh, I don't know what it is about it. It just allows me to play, I guess.
Yeah, and it, like you said, it busies you and your brain in a different way. And sometimes like when we do something completely different, like that's when the best ideas will hit.
Exactly. And I
So
think that I like the idea of making something that I often give them the things I make as gifts or whatnot. And it's
mm,
just like that's really important to me to share your creativity. If you're good at sewing things, you shouldn't just sew things for yourself. You should sew them for other people.
share the craft and the love for the craft. Yeah.
Exactly.
But how's that all of that working out for you when you're on the road? Because obviously you have a tour plan for next year, which is exciting.
Yes, it's so
But that
exciting.
obviously gives you a very different routine. How do you handle your creativity then?
Um, like I said, I'm a bit of a magpie. So I usually take like a crafty kit and I take my writing kit and then the songwriting stuff we just need a laptop and a microphone and Matthias handles that and I just show up at the microphone usually only a few meters away from where I was previously because hotel rooms are really small.
Mm.
But I think that routine is really important to me. I go to bed quite early. I go to bed like 9:30. I get up at 5:30 and even when we travel or when we're touring or whatever, like whenever we're not at a home base situation, I have structure in my days. I get up and do exercise first thing, have breakfast, do my writing. it's so easy to have a little structure in your day when you get up early because you're not missing out on anything. Like if you're in another city or you have a sound check or whatever, that stuff is not going to start until absolutely earliest 10 a.m. So you have from 5 a.m. till 10 a.m. That's like, what, 5 hours or something? That's a solid
Decent enough.
chunk of time to get stuff done. So that's what I do. And if I can do my exercise in the morning and do my writing in the morning, then I know that whatever happens for the rest of the day, I've done exercise and I've accomplished some writing, and that's work to me. So that's basically what I do. And then I take a little crafty kit and I usually journal. Like I have my travel journal on my desk. I'm obviously not traveling, but so I just have like this, and then I fill it with different.
That's super crafty.
Yeah. So I make my own notebooks, but I fill it usually with 3 or 4 notebooks. And then I just journal the whole time and I sketch. And that's usually enough to tide me over.
And then also when you basically get all of that done in the morning, you already had like such a good start to the day. So you're like, okay, I'm ready to like fully enjoy this evening of playing some music to people.
Exactly. And it feels like I don't feel like, oh, I'm going to have to cram something in when I get home. I can just go back and just like go to sleep and wake up the next day and feel ready to go. And I notice when I break my routine, I feel worse. Even if I don't get as much sleep as I might think, I still feel worse by not like following my routine. I don't know whether there's a psychological element to just like having a routine, following the routine. It's just like, so good.
So it seems like your tour routine is all set, and now all that's left for you to do is hop on that plane.
Exactly.
And get going. Are you like
Get me
really
on the
like
plane.
excited for it already, or is it more like I will only believe this will happen if it actually happens?
I'm a little both. I'm excited, but I also am not like setting myself up to be disappointed. Like whatever happens, happens. I understand like things are crazy right now. And I'm not super excited for planes because I mean, no one really likes going on airplanes. So that side of it, I'm less excited about.
But the rest should make up for it.
Exactly. Yeah. Once you're off the plane, then things start to feel better. My secret is to just not eat on the plane. Just don't eat. And then I always feel better when I don't eat on the plane.
Oh yeah, plane food is just.
Yeah, it's just, it's not even that it just tastes bad. It just makes you feel bad. I don't know if it's actually the food or it's eating at altitude that's the problem.
I don't know either. But once you land, you can indulge in plenty of food.
Exactly, especially when you're in a foreign land with culinary delights.
Exactly. Is there any like venue or like city or something you're particularly excited to play on the upcoming tour?
I just love England so much.
Yes.
So I'm so excited to go back. I just love the oldness. I know that's not really a word, but I just love the history there and just yeah. And baked goods, scones in particular. I mean, I make amazing scones, but it's nice when you have one that somebody else has made that's equally as good as your own. So I've only had that in England. So I'm just excited to be in England. Full stop.
Fair enough. I can totally relate to that because like I'm originally from Germany, but I want to try and move over to the UK as well. And I'm actually here right now. So
are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you get it.
So I'm like, yes, I know what you're talking about. And I'll definitely make sure to come down to a show.
Yes, I would love to meet you in real life.
Yeah, I love that. Like getting to talk to people online or like meet people online and then actually being like, oh my God, it is you. You are an actual person. I had the same sensation the other day.
You're not a robot.
Honestly, when I met like other friends of mine that I'd known for almost 3 years now, but we'd never like met in real life. And
wow.
and then our schedules lined up in a way that we were both going to be in London at the same time. We're like, oh my God, let's meet up for drinks. And it was like, wow, what? You're an actual person.
You're a real person. That's so funny. Like there's always that seed of doubt in the back of your mind that they're like not a real person or they're not who they who they seem to
and
be.
It's like, okay, no, you're legit. And yeah, just to kind of tie this off so you can also, wind down with your day. Let's see. what, obviously you're big about like passing on a message, be that with your novel or your music. So at the end of the day, what would you like people that listen to you or that read your novel, what would you like them to take away from it?
I would like them to take away that it is okay to be yourself and to express yourself in healthful ways, and find a way for you to express who you are that makes you feel better and doesn't hurt anybody else, because that's obviously super important. And I think that that's my message. Just fundamentally, at the end of the day, you know, we all are outsiders. We all feel like we don't fit in some way. Even people that seem like the most popular person have something about them that they feel like makes them different. So remembering that you're not alone, and it's okay to just be who you are, is super important. And that's what I try and encourage everyone to do.
Oh, I love that. Now I feel inspired. You've given me some inspiration to take me through the day.
Excellent. Well, I keep
I
forgetting
feel
you're
that.
in the middle of your day. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, it's
so
basically
weird
just
anytime I
started.
think about it.